So we're here at the Elbow Pass trailhead, getting ready to head up into Ray Lake. It's gonna be a good day. I break this hike into 5 different sections. The first section is about 1 kilometer long, and you are going from the Elbow Pass trailhead to Elbow Lake. In that 1 kilometer, you gain 140 meters of elevation. We are about
30 steps in.
30 steps in. And this first kilometer of the trail goes up and up and up. So we're taking a break already. When you get to the lake, it opens up into this beautiful space that you can just kind of take it all in. And Elbow Lake is beautiful. There's a backcountry campground there, and you can spend all day at Elbow Lake if you want. It's an amazing place to go and hang out. On the left side, you have kind of shale and rock and kind of some gravel slides that have come down. And on the right side, you have this winding trail that goes through the trees from Elbow Campground around the lake. Then that is the second section of the hike, is around that lake. So you have, whichever way you go, roughly about 1 kilometer to get from the beginning point of the lake to the end of the lake. Once you get to the end of that kilometer, you have about 8 kilometers left to go. Now, that 8 kilometers that's left includes kind of a sidetrack to Edworthy Falls for me. I always go there anytime I'm up here. And Edworthy Falls from the end of Elbow Lake is about 2.5 kilometers. So in Edworthy Falls, you have to watch for a marker on the trail, and it juts off to the left, and you walk through the trees, and then you get to a point where you come down the hill, and you're basically climb down into the base of the waterfall that feeds out of Elbow Lake. And it's one of my favorite places to be. It's loud. There's a mist that sprays everywhere. There's people that go swimming in there. And it is just a special place for me. You can camp there if you'd like. It's part of the Elbow Sheep Wildland Park, so you can camp there. But there's a lot of people, and the people stay late because it's a close, easy hike out. The fourth section of the hike runs from Edworthy Falls along the trail to where it meets up with the Sheep River Trail. And the Sheep River Trail goes around the base of Mount Ray, and that brings you to about the 8.5 kilometer mark, at which point you have about 1.5 kilometers left. Once the trail meets up with Sheep River Trail, the Sheep River Trail is kind of this long stretch of road that it's almost like a road. It's kind of maintained like that. It leads up to Tombstone Campground and a couple other places, and it's pretty heavily trafficked by horses. So once you get onto that, you're really climbing slowly and gradually up along what is basically a service road. And you have to keep your eye open for where the trail to Ray Lake juts off, and thankfully it's marked again this year with a pile of stones on the right hand side of the trail. And then you duck into the trail that runs elevation from that Sheep River Trail up into Ray Lake. So we just stepped off of Sheep River Trail and we're on our last little ascent up into Ray Lake before we get there on this little game trail, following along the creek that runs out of Ray Lake.
It's not really a game trail, but it feels like it.
I said that when I tried to record this previously, so she's making fun of me. That last section winds you through the trees, up in elevation quite a bit. You gain another 130 meters of elevation in that section, and it runs all the way along the creek that flows out of Ray Lake, which reasonably is going to be called Ray Creek, but it runs along that all the way up the ridge until it meets up with Ray Lake, and then it opens up into some beautiful spaces. That is probably one of the most special places in Kananaskis. There is another access route that runs from the trail before it meets up with Sheep River Trail and cuts the distance across directly to the other side of Ray Lake instead of going around the base of Mount Ray. I think we're going to take that on the way out. Since it's down, we can bushwhack going down easier than the way up. So that's pretty much Ray Lake in a nutshell.
Are you gonna YouTube?
Oh, I'm not doing anything special, but I need to get this view back here. Look at this behind us, kiddo. Because if I start over here, you can see this valley.